You're listening to the God Life Culture Podcast, where faith
and what's trending collide. Welcome to the latest episode of the God Life Culture Podcast. This is Eddie.
What's up, everyone? This is Miguel, and we are back with the God Life Culture Podcast. If this is your first time listening, we want to say welcome back. If you are a returning listener, we want to say welcome back. We have taken off a few months, I guess you could say. It's been like 2 months, right? We usually do at the top of the year, and we are excited to get back into it and get back into podcasting, and this is our first episode of 2024.
Yes, very true. And it's, it's exciting and it's funny because you go, the couple of weeks, months where the podcast is on pause because of everything that's happening in the year, and then you come back and you're trying to remember how everything, the flow of everything is again, the intro, all these little things. But at the end of the day, it's always fun and exciting to get back and to just share, what's been going on, to share on certain topics and things that have been trending. Speaking about stuff in the Bible, speaking about stuff that's just going on in our churches as well. That we hope is of impact and a blessing to everyone that listens. But one of the things that we're looking forward to, or not looking forward to, but one of the changes for 2024 is that you may have noticed that this episode uploaded on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
So we're transitioning from uploading episodes on Mondays to uploading them on Wednesdays. So as long as you are subscribed and you get those notifications, you will get the bling on your phone, on your devices, letting you know when a new episode has been uploaded.
Yeah, so usually our episodes would upload on Mondays, right? We are switching from Mondays to Wednesdays. So now every other Wednesday, you can expect a new episode, right? So like he said, make sure you are subscribed, right? On whatever podcast platform you are listening to us, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, if you are listening to us on Amazon, or you are watching us on YouTube, make sure you are subscribed so you can be notified when our episodes go live. Yes. So now instead of starting the week with us, we are going to catch you on Wednesday midweek, right? When you may need a little bit of boost, an energy boost, an encouragement boost. I think, when the weeks kind of go on, there's always that point in the week where it like drags a little bit and you're just like, you always need like that pick me up. So hopefully we are that for you this year.
Yeah, and if you're a creature of habit, which is I always listen to this on Monday, it's fine. Just let it upload on the Wednesday. Yeah. And when the Monday comes around,
then you listen to
act brand new. Like, oh wow, there's a new episode. And then you play it.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. So definitely just make sure you're subscribed to all of that so you can be notified. And, of course, we wrapped up 2023. This is our first episode. We are 3 months into the year, right? We're in the third month now. And a lot has happened. You know what I mean? We ended the year 2023 in I believe our last episode was in December, right before Christmas, and the Christmas season kind of came and went. New Year, the New Year service came and went, and we did something different this year for our New Year service at our church. Eddie had this idea to basically do like our own version of the Grammys.
Kind of, yeah, and it's funny because it really was, the idea was really a collaboration between me and my wife. She had an idea, and then I kind of like took that idea and like tried to like flesh it out more, and then we had a creative team meeting in the church, and we fleshed it out even more. So it was definitely a collaboration where I guess you kind of sum it up as some type of award show type of a thing, but it really was that we thought, or I really thought it was really important to honor some of the members of our church for their outstanding excellence. And I remember in one of the things that night that I was speaking about, it was the idea that, we give, recognitions throughout the years, throughout the year. And a lot of times is, we're recognizing people because of the positions that they held. So you're a Sunday school teacher, here's a shout out. You're a worshiper, a musician, a preacher, a teacher, you work in the cleaning crew, whatever it is. We kind of give these recognitions out of duty, really, because it's the right thing to do. But there is a category of people that go above and beyond what they're supposed to be doing. And not because they want the brownie points and not because they're looking for the recognition, but because they see there's a need in an area, or they're the type of people that, you know, they're going to do something, they want to do it at 1000%. So I really felt like it was important for us as a church to highlight those individuals, because sometimes you kind of get swapped in with people that are not giving 100%, but y'all get the same recognition, and sometimes it's not fair, in my opinion. You know, you see this at work where, you know, it's the end of year review and everybody gets a raise, and even though you put in more work than the person sitting next to you, everybody gets the same amount of raise. It's kind of like, why am I working so hard for if Billy Bob next to me is getting the same thing as I am, even though I did more work? And not that nobody has that mentality in church, but, you know, we do understand that there is an enemy who sometimes tries to put things in our minds. And, you know, we wouldn't want anyone that is someone that goes above and beyond to not feel like we don't see that. And that was really like the heart behind us doing the New Year's that this way this past year. So
and I think it was just great to just have something different and to have really like a celebration, like you said, of just what we've accomplished in the year, what people have accomplished, and I think that's always important too. I think the whole energy of the night was really good, and you know, just bringing in the new year in that way, I think it just marked kind of you know, change, right? For just upcoming things that, you know, we have that we're doing. And it was just a great way to kind of wrap up 2023. And then we segue right into January of 2024. And January always feels like it's 4 months long in one, at least for me. You know, January, I was on paternity leave for like November, December, and January, mid-January, I had to go back to work. So, you know, those last 2 weeks of, you know, January kind of being back at work, it was like a whirlwind. And although there was so much to do and so many things happening, I think January went by really slow. It was one of those months that I'm like, wow, okay, finally we are in February, you know? And just being able to be home with my wife and my son was amazing. I can't believe he's already 8.5 months. That is just crazy how time flies, but just awesome to just see his growth and just see how, you know, he's turning into like this little toddler. You know what I mean? Like I sent a picture to my brother the other day, and it was just a picture of him in his pajamas, you know, on the bed, and my brother's like, wow, he's losing his baby face. He's a whole toddler, you know? And it's just so funny how you know, again, they say when you have kids, whatever, time flies and all of that, but when you are in it, it definitely does. And just seeing like that baby face of his, you know, he still has a baby face, but it's like not the same face, you know, and he's like changing and just, you know, growing, becoming more independent, you know, and having to like reconcile that. That sometimes, you know, there are certain aspects where that's really good, his independence. And then there's other things where it's like, oh, but you used to like that, you know, a few weeks ago, or, you know, you really liked when we used to do that with you. And now he's just over it. You know what I mean? He's just independent and wanting to do his own thing. So, you know, that has been obviously, you know, a great journey in parenthood, and just, you know, on his way to him being one, which is insane. You know, and insane.
I think the idea of time, you know, is just time moves quickly. You know, and I think it's very evident in with parents with their kids. That's super evident. Like when you look back at pictures and when you start thinking about certain things, like, oh my God, I'm about to have an 8-year-old. That is crazy. That I'm about to have an 8-year-old. My youngest turned 4 this year also. But I even look at that at, you know, and it's a catch-22 with time. And I look at something I haven't spoken about on the pod at all has been last year I started this whole weight health journey thing or whatever. At the time, I'm at almost 100 pounds down. That's really good.
Crazy.
And building up muscle and all that stuff. So, you know, you'll see me on like a health fitness magazine soon. But even that time goes by quick because when I was speaking to you about hitting like that 1-year anniversary mark of, you know, when I started the journey, you're like, I felt like that was 3 years ago. And it does. It feels in a way, it feels like it was so far long ago, but it also doesn't. But I also think that that's how quick time escapes us, you know, where you feel like you have all this time in the world. Oh, I'll get to it tomorrow. I'll figure it out tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. You blink, it's been 6 months.
Yeah.
And if you would have started when you were supposed to start, you would have been 6 months ahead in whatever, in that, you know, in that project that you want to start, in that career you want to switch to, and that shed that's in the back of your, you know, yard that you keep saying that you're going to fix and you're not fixing. So I think that that's where time is really interesting, where, you know, it goes by so quickly, and in the moment you feel like you have so much of it. In the moment, sometimes you feel like January was 12 months in 1 month, but then you blink and it's already July, and January didn't feel that long ago. So, you know, with the whole situation of time, I think it's something that a lot of us really have to be able to take a step back and be like, wait a minute, time is moving really quickly. Am I taking advantage of it? Am I okay with all this time that's slipping by? You know, are there things that I really want to do that I keep putting to the side because I feel like I'm invincible and tomorrow's not guaranteed for anybody. We've always said this. You've heard this all the time. Tomorrow is not promised to anyone. So if there's anybody out there that's thinking about, you know, doing something, but like, I'll maybe do it later, or, oh, do I really want to commit 4 weeks to that? Those 4 weeks will fly by, and it'll be so much worth it if you do commit it because of the result that you're trying to get, you know, at the end of it. So.
Yeah, and I think it's so true. The idea that you could have a dream, you could have a goal, you could have something in mind that you want to accomplish, but you feel like time is always on your side. Like, you know, if I don't get to it now, eventually I'll get to it. Eventually I'll do that. Eventually we'll go away on vacation. Eventually we'll take that trip. Eventually, right? And eventually becomes that it's been 5, 6, 7 years and you haven't taken a step in that direction, right?
Yeah.
So time is that funny thing where you think you have a lot of it, and sometimes you have long days and long months or long years even, and you think, like you say, we'll do that next year, or we'll start that next year, or, you know, even when you want to make changes to improve yourself, right? You know, and the changes that, you know, better you, that help you grow, it's always easier to just stay just a little bit longer in where you are, you know, whether like for you it was weight, for other people it could be just so many other things, whether it's habits in their life or things that, you know, they want to do, right? And changes they want to make in their life. Sometimes it's just like, you know, the change seems so big, it seems so drastic. And when you look at it from here and you're looking at the result you want and it's all the way at the end of the tunnel and you can't see the light and you can't see like the journey or anything like that, it's discouraging. You know what I mean? So I think even with starting a new year and being 3 months into the year, right? It's just funny because in January, we see all the people with their goals, with their dream boards and prayer boards and all of those things. And, you know, along the way, it's just natural that it begins to kind of dissipate and fade away, you know? So it's a constant struggle or a constant reminder to really position yourself to, when these moments of like discouragement come along the way, like I have to overcome that. We have to expect it. It's going to happen. I'm going to have a goal and I'm going to be discouraged. You know, I know that. So now how do I equip myself to fight through discouragement? How do I equip myself to fight through, you know, I'm not seeing the results as quick as I want to see them, or I'm not seeing change as quick as I thought I'd see it. You know, how do I overcome those things? I mean, did you ever face kind of like something like that where it was almost...
I was gonna say, I really think it's a mixture of two things. I think the first thing is that when you're gonna do something, you have to understand in your mind, in your heart, in your being, in your spirit, the level of commitment you're gonna give to it. If you are not willing to commit 100%, then you're setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah.
Once in your mind, in your heart, in your body, you're like, I'm going to do this. Whether it's the health stuff, whether it's the career thing, whether it's the, you know, being more adventurous or being more social or whatever. Once that's settled and you're like, everything is aligned. Yes, we're all going to do this or whatever. Then it's about giving yourself grace when things don't go as cute as you want it to go.
Yeah.
You know, when you do stuff and it doesn't work out the way you want it to, or you don't see the results the way that you wanted to see it, or you're having or you're having a not so beautiful week. You know, you're having a crusty week, and, you know, if you're on a health journey and that week you're just not on a healthy spirit, be at peace with, it was a crusty week. Tomorrow's a new day. Let's pick it back up and go. And I think that a lot of times when you have these bad weeks or you have these bad moments or you have these sections in time that can be considered failures, that you allow the failures to just take control of everything. And it shouldn't be that way. Yes, you had a moment of failure. Yes, you had a moment of weakness. Yes, you had a moment that wasn't as successful as you would want it to be. It's okay. It's fine. That didn't work out. Let's get back up and let's try again, because it goes back to your commitment. Because if you really were committed to the situation, then it's like, that didn't work out, but I'm committed to the goal. I'm committed to the idea. I'm committed to the project. So we have to keep going.
Yeah, and I think commitment is that tough trait to have, because that's the hard part.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I could start something and not finish it. I could start something and not, carry out what I intended to do because of all the challenges that come up along the way.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people, that's kind of what makes the difference, right? With people that actually get things done and accomplish things with the individuals that don't. It's the level of commitment. And it really depends on how strong that level of commitment is that will direct and guide the journey ahead. Because if I'm like half committed to this, like I don't really know if I want this, I don't really know if this is what I want to do, but I'll try, right? It's easy to waver and easy to give in. But if you know what you want, you have a clear vision ahead, you have clear results that you want to see, then your commitment level is going to be right along that path where it's like, I know what I want and I'm going to commit to do what it takes to reach that destination, to reach that goal, to reach that place in my life. But it really depends on your level of commitment, how strong it is or how weak it is. You know what I mean? Because I think whatever it is you want to change in your life, it's going to take work.
Yeah.
It's going to take work, and it's going to take, like you said, a certain level of grace that you have to give yourself, where it's like that first cheat day you have or that first cheat meal you have where it's kind of like, where that first day that you maybe didn't go to the gym because you were tired, or that first day that, you weren't feeling good, so you just kind of weren't at your best. It's like that first moment that's always difficult to now shake off and surpass. You know what I mean?
And listen, with anything, there also comes a lifestyle change that you have to do. So if you're about to start a new project, but you're still working and you're still involved in church and you're still in this, that your whole schedule for your days and your weeks now has to change as well. So you have to be able to understand that when you're about to start something new, it affects other areas in your life as well. So you need to prepare for that ripple effect. Whether that means that there's going to be, you have to commit more time to one thing than to another. You have to cut back on something else, because planning is part of the situation as well. And figuring out ways to keep yourself accountable. There are people that they keep themselves accountable by telling everybody. They're telling everybody because they're hoping that, when people ask them, it'll motivate them to stay in it to win it. I'm not that person.
Yeah.
I'm more of a private person where
you actually didn't really tell people.
I didn't tell nobody
that you were like, starting this or whatever.
Yeah. Or even, I remember like the whole gym thing was something that I didn't really want to tell nobody about it because I don't know. I just wanted, I think in my mind, it's better for like, if somebody's going to give you a like, oh, you look whatever, like, oh, you look stronger, you look slimmer, you look more fit, or you look whatever, that it comes from someone that has no idea what's happening versus it being someone that knows, because then it's kind of like, are they just saying that to motivate me? Or is it like genuine? So and it happens a lot, especially at work, where you'll have like people that you always like crossing paths with and saying good mornings and good afternoons to, that randomly will stop me and be like, no disrespect, but are you losing weight, or is it this, or is that, or whatever? And then in those moments, I was like, all right, it's working.
But I think it's important. I think it's important to have your motivation in the right place too. You know what I mean? Because then there are those individuals that unless people are telling them those things, they don't feel like they're doing anything. They don't feel like they've accomplished anything. They don't have the motivation to do, to continue, right? So it's like wherever your motivation lies, that also is attached to your level of commitment. If my motivation lies in what people are telling me and encouraging me, and I constantly need people's feedback and people's acknowledgement of the changes I'm making in my life, then you're not always going to get that.
Yes.
And there are a bunch of people that notice things and then will never say it.
Oh, yes, because they're petty like that.
So imagine, living off of
that.
that and being motivated by that only, it's a problem.
Yeah, and I said all of that. I got a little sidetracked, but it was to say that, which is that you have to be your own motivational speaker. You need to be you need to keep yourself accountable.
Yeah.
You have to really do that, because although you may have people around you that is your support team and that will help you and that will encourage you, no one is going to push you the way that you can push yourself. At the end of the day, if you don't want to wake up to put in the time and the effort to whatever, it doesn't matter that everybody else is saying, hey, what's going on? What's the update? How's this going? How's that going? When you really need to be the one to kick yourself in the butt.
Yeah.
When you have to. And there's times, and it's not always that tough. Sometimes it's you're really excited. You're really enjoying it. You're really loving. There's a new stage in your life. There's a new project that you're getting into, and you're able to keep yourself motivated. But there will be times where things get a little rough. And yes, it's great to have a support system. But in reality, if you are not able to change your own mindset, it does not matter what anybody else is telling you.
Yeah. There could be people telling you the truth. And if you don't see it for yourself or feel it for yourself, it really doesn't make a difference if everyone around you feels it or sees it, reading this book, our men's group is, going to be reading this year. He talks about kind of like changes and how to, have that power to change. He talks about how he began flossing. He started flossing, and he started with that little insignificant thing in his life. And he said the reason why he started flossing every day, every morning and every night was because he hates to floss. So he trained himself, before I start making big changes and start making big habits in my life, how do I start with something small, may seem insignificant, but something I hate to do that begins to train my mind and train my body and train my discipline to do those things. So it's like, I hate to floss. So what did I start doing? I started flossing every morning and every night, intentionally making a decision to floss and not forget. And he said that it's those small changes that you begin to make that actually pushes you and motivates you to make big changes, in your life. So it's like there are changes in your life. There's so many things that you can do to improve, to grow, to better your life. And it doesn't always have to be on this large scale, or if you feel like you don't have the discipline to change, or you don't have the, self-control to make changes in your life, well, start with something small. Start with something insignificant. Start with something where, even if it's on a spiritual level, it's like, I'm just going to wake up 10 minutes early every day, earlier than what I'm supposed to. I'm just going to take those 10 minutes to pray. 10 minutes. I don't know if I could do an hour. I don't know if I could do a half an hour, but I know I can do 10 minutes. And it's better than the 0 minutes, right? I'm spending now. So I'm going to start with 10 minutes every morning, right? After a while, you can expand that time and go beyond that time, right? But it started with the intentional decision to make a small change, a small habit in your life. So it's like, flossing may seem insignificant, but if you're able to floss and that's something you hate, you can tackle bigger things that you may not like to do or enjoy doing,
And I think that it's also, even just using the idea of flossing, which was something that I also can relate to.
You were a dental journey as well.
I did. I actually did. But,
those aren't his teeth, though, imagine.
No, these are mine, 100%. But what I was going to say was that there are other options for things that we don't like.
Yeah.
That if we knew to explore those other options, it would change everything. For example, with who wants to be there with this string flossing, and it's annoying, it's taxing or whatever. But I discovered through my dentist that there are water picks that you can buy, it's like this thing that shoots water, and it's like in the games at the fair with the water gun things that you're trying to blow up the bubble and knock down. Basically, is that for your teeth. But that, to me, and it's a psychological thing, is so much more fun and satisfying than sitting there with a string hacking at your teeth.
So then the opposite of that is that there are individuals who may have to take the harder route. Because the point is to break certain things. So it's easy to take the water pick for some, right?
But
for others, it's like the lesson here is not, I'll do that. The lesson here is doing the hard thing. You know what I mean?
Yes, but the hard thing is, if we're taking that into consideration, is dental hygiene. Your dental hygiene is what's important. But what I'm saying is that sometimes we think that there's only one option to get that result you're looking for.
Absolutely.
And sometimes there isn't. Sometimes there is. Sometimes the only option available is the crappy one. The one that is you don't like it. And you have to push through and you have to do it. But there are times that we stay ourselves stagnant and stay stuck with, I don't like that option. I don't like that option. I don't like that option. And just do the research. And there's other options to still get you to the result you're looking for.
Yeah.
But when you're in a situation where there's only one option, you gotta bite the bullet and keep it going.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's one of those things where I think, again, changing and habits and all of that, right? It takes, like you said, preparation and planning before you do it. And I think with whatever life stage you're in, for me, being a dad and, starting that journey, I cannot get like if we're leaving for church, I cannot wake up at the same time I used to.
That's true.
Cannot get dressed the same way at the same time I used to. I have to allot time for blowouts, like, you know what I mean? Diaper changes, like so many things, right? And again, you can look at it like, okay, so Sundays are hard because I got to be in church by 10 or 10:30, and it's just hard because my son or my daughter and this, I can't make it. So now the choice is, all right, I'm just going to stop like that teaching so I can focus on this, so I can do that, right? Or, I can't go to the gym anymore because I'm a parent, right? Or my work schedule changed, right? So I don't do the gym. I just can't. It's too much, right? So when you have that commitment level, it's like, I love my son, right? I'm a dad now, but I also have other responsibilities. So it's like, how do we plan and prepare where now it's like, you know what? Maybe the night before I have to get all my clothes ready. Maybe the night before I have to pack all my bags. Maybe the night before I have to do certain things in order to be successful the next day and still be ready for those last minute changes, So I think even when it comes to, whatever change you want to make this year, you're 3 months into the year, right? It can happen. You can change. You can develop those habits, begin to prepare and plan for the changes that you want, right? And, how you want to grow, how you want to better yourself. Start thinking about it. Prepare, come up with an action plan, and get it done because it's possible. Absolutely. So tell us, how many pounds did you lose?
Almost 100.
Almost 100.
Yeah.
In like a year.
Yeah.
Insane. Yeah. Now, when you think back to a year ago, right?
Would have been more, but I'm also, like I said, I'm getting that.
So when you look back to a year ago, right? And then now that you're like past that year, what would you tell yourself if you could go back to February, right? What would you tell yourself about this journey?
It's weird because I look at it from the perspective of, you could have started earlier. If you would have committed earlier, then you would be at a completely different place. You'll be at a different result, whatever. And you could take it from that perspective. But I take it from the perspective of, you knew what you were getting yourself into and you committed and you did your thing. You killed it. Like, I look at it from that perspective. Like, I don't, there's nothing negative to tell myself. I'll be like, you a dog, you killed it, you went into beast mode and you did what you were supposed to do, regardless of all the different changes that were happening. Because like you say, you make a decision to do something.
Life doesn't stop.
Life doesn't stop. All these other different things are going on at the same time, and you got to pivot, and you got to change, and you got to do this, and you got to take all the curvebalbles. But I think at the end of the day, I don't know. It's like weird. Like, I would just give myself the ill high five. Be like, you did that. That's about it, And I think it was also about being realistic. I went into it understanding what the goal was, what I wanted to do, how I wanted to get there, and understanding the sacrifices have to be made. I get up at 5 a.m. to go to the gym 5 days a week. Not everybody can do that. Not everybody has that commitment. Not everybody, wants to do that. And it's also about finding what you like. This is the whole thing that I was saying about there's different options out there. Me getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go to the gym by myself would never happen. Me doing circuit training and it's like CrossFit and stuff like that, where it's a group of people and you kind of keep each other accountable, and that's motivational for me. So maybe going to the gym to run on the treadmill at Planet Fitness is not as exciting for you. You did it one time, and then after that you're like, I'm not getting up to do that, I'm tired. But maybe you have to join a class, maybe you have to join a team, maybe you have to do something different that helps you stay accountable as well,
and invest. because
you
it's
gotta
easy to pay
invest.
the
That's the other
$10 a
thing.
month for Planet
Yes.
Fitness, but then it's
Yeah.
like the classes, it's $50 a month or
Yeah, so that's
$60.
more expensive.
So it's like,
Mhm.
commitment level. How
Yeah,
committed are you to that goal?
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely, keep it up.
No, yeah, definitely. And then shout out to my wife and my team of people, my very small team of people that is just at the end of the day, it's motivational.
Yeah.
They keep you accountable. They, celebrate you and your small victories along the way. And that's it's really great. It's really great when you have that support around you to do that. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So we hope that
Yeah.
you guys have enjoyed our first episode of 2024. Keep in mind that our episodes will be releasing every other Wednesday. So going from Mondays to Wednesdays. Make sure you're subscribed. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram at God Life Culture Podcast. Subscribe to us on YouTube where you can actually watch our podcasts. And we are looking forward to a new year. We're looking forward to brand new episodes and different topics and new topics. And we want you to come along with us for the ride.
Yeah, so thank you once again for tuning into the latest episode of the God Life Culture Podcast. It's
God Life Culture.
Until next time.
See ya.
Bye.